1, a 2, a 1.
It's time for the Better Horses Radio Show. So let's saddle up and ride as we explore the Western way of life, horses and cows, family and friends, a relationship with the land, and a relationship with God. It's all here on Better Horses Radio. Now let's hit the trails with the Better Horses team.
And you are dialed into Better Horses Radio. We want to thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Ed Adams.
And I'm Merle Arbo.
And you know what, Merle? We got another great show this week.
Oh, this is going to be a humdinger. We've got a couple of three really good guests. So you're going to want to stay tuned for this.
You know, you heard about it before, but we want to reiterate. There's going to be a great show coming out in the Midwest by the Pinto Horse Association of America. And it's called the Pinto World Championship. And it's going to be on June 7th. And we are proud to have the Executive Secretary, Vice President, and COO, Daryl Bilkey, and Jenna Henson, who's the Direct Marketing and Communications Director, are going to be walking us all through it. It's one of the shows you can sure consider coming out to Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. Ed, we're also going to visit with Dr. Kevin Keegan, who is a board-certified equine surgeon and a professor of veterinarian medicine at the University of Missouri. He's a leading expert in equine biomechanics, and his research focuses on horse locomotion, lameness detection, and performance evaluation. Dr. Keegan has played a very important role in advancing veterinarian technology to improve equine health and athletic performance.
And you know, that lameness is really a big issue, and I think we should target in on that and focus in on that subject matter because everybody's talking about it.
Oh, yeah. And this day and age, it's a lot cheaper to keep your horse sound than it is to go buy a new horse. So
yeah, that's a very good point. Well, hey, we want to satisfy the cattle market. And so together we got our own Mark Alpold, who's going to take time out. And I'm going to shoot it over him as we talk about the prices that are going all over the place. Mark, what do you got for us today?
Well, yeah, this could be a very interesting week as we look back 2 months from now, 6 months from now, the end of the year, and look back to this first week of April. People may say that was a real pivotal week for the overall economy, including our cattle and feeder cattle trade. Of course, we saw that sell-off in the cattle futures here late week, and that resulted in a lower start this week, as we know. Of course, tariffs still the name of the game this week. We expect the headline risk, we'll call it, to remain high. Last-minute negotiations can continue. As of this report, we don't see any, haven't heard of any extension or negotiation or any sort of final agreement in that regard. So we'll go by the fact that there was tariffs to be announced here midweek and go with that. And that may change, and you can add as we go through this week. June live cattle stopped short of hitting new contract highs last week. The previous week's reversal high, we'll call that, and control the markets here, and will be until it takes out at 207.30. Again, that's on the June contract. Now, our data showing that managed money increased their net longs in live cattle and increased that to a 7-week high, another record in feeders, by the way, as well. Our active cash trade last week, last Friday, around in the north, 211, 214, 207, 210 in the south, mostly steady in both areas with the week before. I might also, a week ago we talked about steer weight, average dress cattle weights. And for this last week, it was 870 pounds. That was down 1 pound from the previous week, but it is up from 848 a year ago. The 5-year average for this late in March and early April is 832 pounds. So again, well above that here, some 40, 50 pounds here per animal. And then you have production 528 million pounds during this past week. Slaughter last week brought the total over 609,000. So you have over 600,000 head of cattle, each carrying an extra 30, 40 pounds of weight. And you can see the battle that we have in that beef cutout. So looking at the May feeder cattle, We think 282 is a number that would need to hold. August at 287, around that area, is certainly going to be a help for May to hold that 282 level or better. They're watching that number this week. Now, as far as June live cattle futures, we think we need to hold that 202 there, or 198 would be the next stop down. Certainly, and that is a possibility. But let's first things first, watching June holding 202 or better, and May feeder cattle holding 282 or better. Our acreage report showing not going to be any problem with corn supply, putting those corn acres at 95.3. That's the third highest ever. Soybean acres, 83.5, 83.5 million, and that would be if realized, would be the seventh highest, even though a little bit below some of the expectations. And then you have cotton. By the way, wheat at 33.3, but cotton is a number to watch in here. It doesn't really relate, obviously, to our cattle or feeder cattle, but it does. Those of you who watch all these markets, we have the, if realized, at 9.9 million acres of cotton. That would be the lowest since 1970. We think how far back that is. So that report and the stocks numbers as well, giving the market a little bit erratic nature as we see from those numbers that came out on a Monday morning. So hopefully that's helpful information. That, as always, through it all, Ed, we wish everyone a profitable week ahead.
All right, everyone, I want you to stay with us as we take a short break. We're going to have more equine information coming your way as we talk to Daryl Bilkey and Jenna Henson. They're with the Pinto World Championship coming up on June 7th. We'll be right back right after these messages. I'm your host, Ed Adams.
And I'm Merle Arbo.
Stay with us.
Now's the time to prepare for the world's largest horse show, the Pinto World Championship. This 14-day event begins June 7th, starting with our youth weekend through June 22nd, and caters to all riding levels and ages. With over $1 million in cash and prizes, there are no qualifications required to enter. Held in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Pinto World Championship caters to all types of equines. With over 700 classes, the Pinto Show welcomes a variety of breeds. It's a family environment with healthy competition. For more information, check out pintoworld.com.
Get quality you can stand on. Hoof Grip is the proprietary formula that provides shock absorption for your animals with no ice buildup, slipping, cracking, or sogginess, making it the safest, most comfortable, and maintenance-free flooring on the market. Hoof Grip installs quickly and easily over existing surfaces, is easy to clean, and withstands extreme heat or cold. From vet offices to barns, wash racks to trailers and more. Visit hoofgrip.com to find a dealer in your area today.
We're here for the hardworking, the resilient. We're for the people who measure their days by what needs to get done, not by hours. Where kids learn responsibility at a young age and generations work side by side. Where work doesn't pause for holidays or bad weather. It just gets harder. Where value and hard work means more than the clothes you wear. We're Kleinschmidt's Western Store, Higginsville, Missouri.
Routine dental examination and treatments are essential for high-quality horse care. To prevent potential problems, a horse's mouth should be examined at least once a year. I'm Dr. Chris Blevins, Equine Field Service Veterinarian at Kansas State University Veterinary Health Center. We can examine the mouth and provide a treatment plan to meet the needs of each client and their horse. Visit us at ksvhc.org, the Veterinary Health Center, to discover, to teach, to heal.
Hey, it's Alex Gold from Max Motors in Belton with their huge year-end heavy-duty sale. Every new 2024 Ram 2500 in stock is 20% off MSRP. New 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee up to $13,000 off MSRP. Stock number S240367. Must finance with dealer lender. Offer expires 1/2/25. And if you're looking for the max trade-in values in the Midwest, it's Max Motors, just a short drive to Belton. Max Motors, the easiest place to buy a car, maxmotors.com.
Welcome back to Better Horses. So glad you joined us. And all we get to talk about is the equine industry. And I'm your host, Ed Adams.
And I'm Merle Arbo.
And Merle, thank you for joining me. You know, this is going to be an exciting show right here because we not only get to talk about one of the largest Midwest horse shows in the country, our next guest has a lot of history with this, and I'm very excited about having them on board.
Oh, yeah, there's no question Mr. Bilkey has a lot of history.
And let's do the official introductions. As he mentioned, you know, we're the Executive Secretary and Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of the Pinto Horse Association of America. We're going to have Daryl Bilkey coming on board with us. And also, Merle, we're going to have the Director of Marketing and Communications Director, Jenna Henson. And we're going to talk all about what it's like to have this show and all the importance of getting it registered and all that exciting stuff. So welcome aboard, Daryl Bilkey and Jenna Henson. Welcome to Better Horses.
Thank you for having us on today, Ed, and we're looking forward to it. And always look forward to being on an interview with you and Merle and the one and only Mr. Arbo. You know.
My reputation precedes me, I see.
Right.
Okay, now we got to really control these two, Jenna. So we got to watch this.
Oh, yeah. So, I hear you.
You know, so the chief operating officer of this great event. Now, you took over the managing operations in 2003. So, Daryl, you've been doing this for a long time. It has, you know, exponentially have grown into one of the largest shows ever. Can you talk to me about registration and what type of horses are coming? And it's not just a Pinto show.
No, Ed, we are very, very fortunate. We are a very large horse show, but we welcome everyone, and we take so many different types of horses, you know, and we take the stock horse, which is the quarter and the paint horse, and we've got a division for the pleasure type horse for the Arabians and the Morgans. Then we've got a hunter division for the thoroughbreds and the warm bloods, and then also the saddlebreds. And then we're fortunate enough we could go over and do the three different heights of the ponies in our division there. And we got the stock type pony and the pleasure type pony. And then also we got the two heights of the miniatures. So we've got something for everyone at this event. And those horses can be solid colored or with color. So we have two different divisions there. We have the solid horse for any horse, basically that's a horse can come and play in the solids, and if they got 4 inches of color on them or high white legs or white ball face, we can put them in their colored registry.
And for everyone who knows this show very well, the Pinto Horse Association is putting on the Pinto World Championship beginning in June. Merle, you talked about this. You show here and talk about the ease and execution of actually showing your horses in this event.
It is super easy. Everybody's super friendly. Like, it's probably the friendliest show staff I've ever dealt with. I mean, everybody from the people that check you in, the Coggins and the health papers, all the way up, even to the COO like Mr. Bilkey, you know, they're all super friendly. And what makes the Pinto really different is Daryl's on the ground, the boot's on the ground. You see him, he's walking around. And I can remember when I was a kid, going to the Pinto World, it was just at the pavilion. And maybe Daryl or Jenna, one of you can talk about, I mean, like, you guys have had exponential growth, like, considering, what was it, 2003 you took over, Daryl?
2003, Merle, and I think that year we probably had 1,500 entries to 2,000. Now we have roughly 7,000 to 8,000 entries. We've been very, very blessed. And back then we might have 400 horses. Now we have 2,000 horses. So
wow. And that's not even calculating it like a lot of horse shows do. That's, I mean, one entry counts as a class, not per judge, like some other associations. I'm not going to name names, Daryl.
Right. Yeah. If we multiplied times 4, we would have a huge horse show, you know.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the execution of so many breeds coming into this show. So many people can come in and actually compete. At this point, Daryl, you've been a judge for over 30 years. You've been with 16 different associations across the country. This is a big operation to try to get every judge and to get every discipline and every breed with the proper judging. Talk to me about how you have to execute something like that.
Yeah, we're very blessed with our judges list, and Merle's one of our judges. You know, we have got a great set of judges, and they are qualified to judge in all the different types: the Western type, the English type, the pleasure type, the saddle type, the ponies, the miniatures. So it takes a true horseman or horsewoman to judge to put them in the Pinto pen. So we feel real comfortable. We have a great educational program that they have to stay current every 3 years. And so we're very, very conscious. We have seminars right before they go in the class, so we keep our judges current, keep them going. So we feel real blessed to have the quality of judges that we have, So.
And we're talking about the Pinto World Championship held in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I want to bring on board Jenna Henson. She's the Director of Marketing and Communications there at the Pinto Horse Association. Jenna, welcome to Better Horses. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us today.
So with over 700 classes that is coming on board, this is a huge operation. You've got over $1 million in cash and prizes coming on board. Let's talk about actually getting on there, getting registered, and what that takes as far as getting the communications out and talking about the show itself.
Yeah, so like Daryl touched on it a little bit earlier, registration, we can register all the way up at the Pinto World Championship. But if you would like to get your horse registered by April 25th, you don't have to put in a rush fee because April 25th is our pre-entry deadline. So that's the easiest way to get your horse registered. And all you have to do is if the horse has papers, AQHA, paint, whatever it is, just send that over, as well as the pictures, the 4 pictures, 2 front and 1 behind and both sides, and get that covered. Or we also take undocumented horses with a slightly additional fee. So we take just about everything. And then, like you said, we have about 728 classes. So we have something for everyone to come show in.
You hit a really good point. I just want to drive this home one more time. If you do not have papers for your horse, and you've been riding this horse, you've been working with it, it's coming out of the pasture, you can actually get registered at the Pinto World Championship, now beginning June 7th, and that process can happen fairly quickly, Jenna. That isn't something that they have to wait months or years to get done, correct?
Yes. If you do want to register your horse at the show, you do have to pay a rush fee, but we can get you in, no problem.
And moving on to the classes, talking all about the breeds, and you're really touching with a lot of different events. So we're talking ranch riding, we're talking WAAA, we're talking English, we're talking hunter jumpers. Is there anything that you can think of that we don't have, or that the Pinto World Championship is not including? And I can't think of any. Merle's shaking his head. He can't think of any. I think so. If you're walking into the show thinking about bringing your horse, this seems to be the only show that you want to grab onto that you can actually get registered and actually have a show to place any type of discipline. Merle, is that a fair statement to make?
Oh yeah, and I was getting ready to say, Ed, you tested that theory last year at the Color Breed Congress. I mean, Ed decided at the last minute, hey, I want to go show, and let's just see how easy it is to get in there. And you did, remarkably so. You made your class. You were scrambling a little bit at the last minute, but everything worked. You could pull it all together.
And Jenna, we didn't really touch base on this, but those who are coming to Tulsa for the very first time, going on these fairgrounds for the very first time, can you talk to about the ease and access that they have inside and going into the show? And we're talking, this is going to be a large event. This is a 13-day event. So this is going to be something that they're going to be parked there for a while.
Yeah, so our staff, we are stationed in the Built Ford Truck Arena. So that's the place where if you have any questions, you can come to the office. There will be vendors set up there. And then, of course, there will be an arena going there as well. And then we will also have the Purina trailer set up there where it's live streaming not only the Ford, but also the Mustang and the Pavilion. So you can keep in the know of what's going on. You can walk over to the Mustang arena or the Pavilion as well. And then we also will be live streaming it as well through our YouTube. So if you just, you can't come for one day of the show, you can find us online and watch that class that you're really wanting to see go.
Very good. Okay, we're talking about the Pinto World Championship. This is going to be June 7th through June 21st, and they cater to all levels and ages, including youth, amateur, novice, and open. I want to talk more about this show right after we take a quick break and for our sponsors, and everybody stay with us. I'm Ed Adams.
And I'm Merle Arbo.
And we'll be right back right after these messages. Welcome back to Better Horses Radio. I'm your host, Ed Adams.
And I'm Merle Arbo.
And we are fortunate to be talking to one of the largest horse shows in the country. It's called the Pinto World Championship Show. It's going to be held June 7th through June 21st. And Merle, we talked about it just going out of this break. This is catering to all levels and all ages, including youth, amateur, novice, and open. And you know what? We don't talk about it enough, but the prizes include buckles, ribbons, chairs, rose garlands, and saddles that are awarded in the World Championship and even in the Reserve World Championship and High Point winners.
Well, and maybe Jenna can allude a little bit to it. Is it over $1 million of prizes that you all give out?
Let's talk about that. Jenna Henson is going to be the Director of Marketing and Communications Director. Thanks for staying with us, Jenna. Let's talk about those prizes. What does that include and how's that working?
Yes, so Merle was correct. Over $1 million is awarded out in prizes and awards, and that does include High Point chairs. We give away harnesses, we give away buckles, we give away ribbons, saddles.
Yeah.
We give plenty of awards away, and it kind of encompasses all of that.
I think the saddle number is roughly 38 to 40 saddles.
Wow.
With 2 or 3 pleasure driving carts. I don't know. We have 728 classes, so take that times 2 for belt buckles. So that's getting pretty close to 1,500 belt buckles. Rosette ribbons played down the top 10 in each event, and then each individual judge, his ribbons is paid there. Then dollar wise, cash wise, it just the number that plays in the fraternity. So we give away a lot of nice stuff.
You guys have your own run for the million right there in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
We got our own little run for the million. Yes.
And if you're just joining us, we're talking to Daryl Bilkey, and he is Chief Executive Officer and the Chief Operating Officer of the Pinto World Championship. I keep trying to promote you every chance I get, Daryl. And then we're also talking to Jenna Henson, the Director of Marketing and Communications here at the Pinto World Championship. It is coming June 7th through June 21st. And let's also talk about the trade show that's going to be there too. You're there for a long time. There's a lot of great shopping. Jenna, let's talk, not only is it great shopping, but also your needs for the horse. A lot of great booths there to talk about coaching and what we can be doing to better our horses.
Yes, we see a variety of vendors come in for the World Show, whether you need a new pair of boots, you just want to go shopping and get some pretty jewelry. A lot of our sponsors get a booth as well, so we have some great partners. We've got some different ice therapy places that come in and can offer services right there. We have a little bit of everything, and yeah. If you're interested in becoming a vendor, there's still time, so don't hesitate to reach out.
Well, and Jenna, you mentioned, your sponsors. I know Bill Knight Ford has been a longtime sponsor, and I assume he's back again this year. But could you tell us, some of your partnerships or sponsors that help make this event possible?
Yes, like you already highlighted, Bill Knight, Purina, they will have their trailer set up so everyone can watch in the Built Ford Truck Arena what's happening in the pavilion and the Mustang, which we greatly appreciate. Kelly Hurd is normally there every year. We got Shorties. If you need hat services, they're the best.
We got, the Purina, Kensington products, horse blankets, wraps, Tire Territory.
Yes, buckles.
Yes, buckles. Purina is there with us. Better Horses are there with us.
I was hoping you were going to say that. I was waiting for it.
State Line Tax is with us. So we have got a lot of great vendors. Then also we've got three or four different specialty events we're having this year. We've got one night we're having and I don't know if you've ever judged whether or not our Liberty class with the miniatures, where you bring him in and you turn him loose for 90 seconds and let him run and play the music. That's a fun one to watch. And then also we're having a miniature barrel race.
All out driving barrels.
All out driving barrels. So
that might have been inspired by last year's viral video. And if you have not seen that, it's available on Better Horses. Of the little kid, it was Kevin Woodford's little youth kid. Yeah, I don't know if you all remember that, but man, that was fun to watch.
So we do. We remember.
And we've had a lot of requests to bring it back. So that's a request from our little partner in Iowa that triggered that for us. So
that was a highlight of my horse show last year, is watching him do that.
you're bringing up a very good point. This is a great place to exhibit your horse, but this is also a great place just to go watch and just be entertained for 13 days and just see all these great, magnificent horses that are coming on board and just competing. And I think that's, Merle, you and I both know this as a judge and also as an exhibitor, and you're also coming in as a coach for a lot of these people coming in, but you get a lot of visitors just say, hey, I just want to come watch.
Well, and Ed, you hit on a good point there. The very first time I went to the Pinto World, I did not bring a horse. I went to scope it out. I was a kid, and I'd heard everybody say how much fun it was, and so we just went down for the day and just watched and said, okay, well this looks like something I could do and looks like a lot of fun. So yeah, even if you don't bring a horse, come on down, spend a couple days, spend a week. I don't care, spend 2 weeks with us, and I'll bet by the end of the time you're going to leave knowing a lot more friends and having a good time.
And Jenna mentioned it, the facilities is fantastic. And if you're just joining us, we're talking about the 2025 Pinto World Championship. This will be June 7th through June 21st, and it's going to be held in Tulsa, Oklahoma at the Tulsa Fairgrounds. And Jenna, we talked about this once before, but I really want to hit it home. It is really opening the doors for every type of horse that wants to come in and compete. It is easy to get in. It is easy to register. We really encourage you. This is in the mid-year. It's got plenty. Everybody's still got plenty of time to get their horses legged up. But Jenna, there's also an advantage of early registration.
Yes. So our overall pre-entry deadline just for the Pinto World Championship is the April 25th. And if you would like to get your horse registered, it is best to do it by then, so then you don't have to put in a rush. But as always, we will register your horse at the World Show if that is what is needed.
Very good. And finally, Daryl Bilkey coming on board. You've been doing this for over 30 years. I think this is probably one of the shows to go and watch if you're actually putting on a show, if you want to know how to do it right. This is kind of like the playbook to put it all together. And Daryl, you've got a lot of experience behind this, but I'm watching a lot of other shows trying to model after what you're trying to put together. And I think that's just with the amount of experience you put into this.
Well, Ed, thank you. Yeah, we've been in it for many, many years. And then one other thing that we haven't got to touch on yet a little is we want to take care of anyone that's interested in the equine world. So our first weekend of the World Show, and I'm going to let Jenna tell you a little about it, we've designed a youth weekend world for any young person that's interested in the equine world. They don't even have to have a horse. We want them to come.
So yes, it starts Saturday, June 7th at the Tulsa Fairgrounds. Our speech contest starts at 9 a.m. All youth are welcome. 4-H, FFA, you do not have to have a membership with us in order to come compete. We have youth and senior divisions. The 13 and under is our junior division, and our 14 through 18-year-olds is our seniors. Seniors will have 4 opportunities for speech contests, including the extemporaneous, the public speaking, the prepared speech, and the impromptu divisions. And then juniors have 2 opportunities, which includes the public speaking and the prepared speech. Registration is $25. Buckles will be awarded to champion and reserve champion, and plaques will be given out 3rd through 5th place winners. Each division winner for the senior division will also receive a $250 scholarship from the Pinto Heritage Foundation. And then on Sunday, June 8th, is our horse judging competition. It's in the Built Ford Truck Arena. It starts at 9 a.m. It's $100 per team to register. And the coaches meeting is the night before, June 7th at 6:30 p.m., where you can pick up all the information packets. Have any questions, that's the place to be. And it's the same. The 14 through 18-year-olds is the senior division, 13 and under is the junior. And the senior high point team will receive a $250 scholarship each from the Pinto Heritage Foundation. Plaques, buckles, and ribbons will be awarded, and the entry deadline is May 19th. So yes, that's open to all youth to come hang out with us that first weekend at the Pinto World Championship, and we're excited for that.
Our Saturday, June 7th, that kicks off the youth speech contest. How excellent. And, this is really for both opportunities for 4-H and FFA students to just showcase all their skills. And how exciting is that just to promote the industry?
Yeah, it's really exciting. Jenna, if you could tell us where people can go to learn more about the programs you just talked about, or anything about the Pinto World, how to register or plan their visit.
Yes. So go to our website. We also just got a new website a few months ago. So go to our website and then click on the Pinto World Championship. And if you're interested in the youth weekend, our forms will be listed there. Just click on forms. If you're interested in registering, just go ahead and go to our Pinto Horse website. All of our information, forms can be there. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call our office.
I really like that new website, especially the videos on that landing page.
Yes.
Was you in the video, Merle?
No, that's why I liked it.
We tried to get Ed on there, but he fell off his horse.
Yeah,
So-
that's probably not good for business, you know.
And thank you, Jen. I appreciate all that. So wrapping it into the program, we're talking about the Pinto World Championship beginning June 7th through the 21st. You don't want to miss this. I want to thank Daryl Bilkey, who is the Executive Secretary and Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of this big event. And Jenna Henson's also joining us, the Director of Marketing and Communications. Check them out. As Jenna said, pinto.org. We'll get you there for all the information. And we appreciate everything they're doing for us. Daryl, Jenna, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Ed and Merle, and thank you for letting us be part of Better Horses.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
We'll see you guys soon.
We will be there.
It's going to be a fun event to get to. Can't wait. And that means, Merle, we got to get on our horses and we got to get them legged up. So this is going to be something we got to really work for towards.
Yes, time to practice those patterns. They'll be out soon, right, Jenna?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's where we're going. All right, everyone, stay with us. I know we've got more equine events coming your way, along with more conversations. I'm your host, Ed Adams.
And I'm Merle Arbo.
And we'll be right back right after these messages.
Now's the time to prepare for the world's largest horse show, the Pinto World Championship. This 14-day event begins June 7th, starting with our youth weekend through June 22nd, and caters to all riding levels and ages. With over $1 million in cash and prizes, there are no qualifications required to enter. Held in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Pinto World Championship caters to all types of equines. With over 700 classes, the Pinto Show welcomes a variety of breeds. It's a family environment with healthy competition. For more information, check out pintoworld.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dylan Luter, a specialist in equine performance medicine at the Kansas State University Veterinary Health Center. Our new service focuses on lameness diagnosis, advanced imaging, physical therapy, and regenerative medicine for horses with injuries preventing them from performing at their best. We can treat a variety of conditions and design a customized rehabilitation plan to meet the needs of each client and their horse. Visit us at ksvhc.org, the Veterinary Health Center, to discover, to teach, to heal.
At Heritage Tractor, we're driven by more than just the nuts and bolts of our John Deere tractors. We're fueled by a commitment to you. It's about tracking down that elusive part, providing industry-leading equipment that won't break the bank, and ensuring your equipment is up and running. Because your livelihood depends on it, our livelihood depends on it. The three little words we live by, here for you, aren't just words. They're a promise. Heritage Tractor, here for you, here for a lifetime.
Established in 1956, the Pinto Horse Association of America was formed to welcome all types of equines and maintain their show records and pedigrees. PTHA currently has over 88,000 members with 157,000 registered pintos. There are currently 3 separate registries: the Color Registry, the Solid Registry, and the Long Ear Registry. We welcome all levels of competition within a family-friendly environment. Become a member, register, and add value to your horse. For more information, check out the website pintoworld.com.
Get quality you can stand on. Hoof Grip is the proprietary formula that provides shock absorption for your animals with no ice buildup, slipping, cracking, or sogginess, making it the safest, most comfortable, and maintenance-free flooring on the market. Hoof Grip installs quickly and easily over existing surfaces, is easy to clean, and withstands extreme heat or cold. From vet offices to barns, wash racks to trailers and more. Visit hoofgrip.com to find a dealer in your area today.
We're here for the hardworking, the resilient. We're for the people who measure their days by what needs to get done, not by hours. Where kids learn responsibility at a young age and generations work side by side. Where work doesn't pause for holidays or bad weather. It just gets harder. Where value and hard work means more than the clothes you wear. We're Kleinschmidt's Western Store, Higginsville, Missouri.
It's time to go with United Mosquito and Fly Control's premier fly system for fly control in your barn, providing relief for horses from the stress of fighting flies, and also makes the barn more pleasant for everyone in the barn. Easy, effective, and safe. With United Mosquito and Fly Control, we provide a full service. You as the barn owner don't have to do anything. We go everywhere and take care of everything with our friendly fast service. Call today at 913-558-3814 or email Paul at unitedmosquito.com.
And you are dialed in to Better Horses Radio. So glad you joined us. I'm your host, Ed Adams.
And I'm Merle Arbo.
You know, we just talked about this great show that's coming up beginning June 7th. It's the Pinto World Championship, and that's also sponsoring our next segment.
Nice. Yeah. We can't talk about them enough.
Exactly. Hey, with all of those horses going into that show, there's one thing that everybody's really concerned about, and that's also the care and custody of their horses. And we are going to take a moment in this next segment and bring on a gentleman that is the professional of all the care and custody with horses. And we're bringing him returning from the University of Missouri. He's a faculty member since 1990 and became board certified at the American College of Veterinary Surgeons in 1995. Now, Merle, he did research in lameness, and he led to the development of Equinus Q, also known as Lameness Locator, and he founded Equinus and serves as a research and development consultant. He retains his clinical appointment at the University of Missouri's Equine Veterinarian Health Center, specializing in equine surgery and lameness. I'm glad to have him on board. I'm privileged to have him talk to us about his surgery and everything's going on at the University of Missouri as director of the program. And I'd like to welcome Dr. Kevin Keegan to Better Horses. Hello, Kevin.
Hello, and actually the privilege is mine.
So we appreciate you joining Better Horses.
Flattery will get you everywhere.
Yeah. That's exactly right. So thanks again for joining us here. And I'm very excited about talking to you because lameness has always been the big question with all of us who have horses. And can you just kind of from a very simple point of view, talk to us about this new revolutionary program that you have when we talk about Equinus Q?
Yeah, well, actually it's... it's been commercially available now since about 2008 or 9, and I believe there's over 500 users now in the world. But it developed out of our research program in the 1990s. We were studying lameness in horses, and what is the best thing to look for or to measure to detect if the horse has lameness. And we started out with markers that we put on the horse's body and filmed them moving before and after creating lameness or before and after blocking them. And so we kind of found out what were the most sensitive indicators, body movement indicators. This is with cameras, and that's kind of a pain in the rear end to film horses because they move out of the field of view, and if they get far from the camera, then their accuracy is not very good. So I met this Japanese engineer who was his daughter actually wanted to go to vet school. That's how we met. He didn't know anything about horses. And I was at an engineering meeting and I met him. I gave a talk and he comes up to me and we just sat down and started drawing on napkins. Anyway, that's how it started. The Japanese engineer coming up to me at an engineering meeting. And we worked for about 5 or 6 years making the sensors small enough that the horse doesn't care. Yeah, and it's been commercially available now for 17 years, 18 years, something like that.
Well, and Dr. Keegan, I actually came up there and back when I had the horse for the Chiefs war paint, we actually did this with war paint. It was really cool. For those of you that don't know, and this is layman terms, so forgive me, but basically you put sensors on the pole and sensors on each hip, and then you monitored like hip drop or like a head drop, or like you quantified the data versus a 1 to 5, old school, like most evaluations. Is that right?
Yeah. And we actually, in the beginning, we didn't know what it was to measure. We didn't know what the best thing, but when we actually figured out that if you look at the vertical displacement of the head and the vertical displacement of the entire pelvis, then you can detect lameness very accurately. So we actually we put, there's 2 vital sensors. One goes on the head and one goes right in the middle of the pelvis. And then we put one sensor also on one leg. We pick the right front, but you could pick any leg. And that's just a time index indicator to indicate, what stage of the stride the horse is in. But yeah, we basically measure the shape of the trajectory of the vertical movement of the head and pelvis for front limb and hind limb lameness. That's what the research in the 1990s told us was the best indicators.
Well, this is really fascinating, especially on lameness, because to your point, I always feel like we're shooting in the dark trying to find out what the issue is, which means you're always trying to figure out what the solution's going to be. How has this benefited you from a surgeon and understanding lameness as far as horses go? What kind of revolutionary information has this given us?
Well, I mean, I think that the first thing was, it does not replace the veterinarian watching the horse, because you still have to do that. It was a sort of a check on the validity of what you are seeing. That's in the beginning, that's what it was. And also it's more sensitive than the human eye because it samples movement at 200 hertz or 200 samples per second. So it's very sensitive. But over the years, and every horse that comes into the University of Missouri since about 2008 will be measured with this. But I think in the way it has developed is it has developed into a labor-saving device, because you don't have to, basically you just have to trot the horse up and down a couple of times. You don't have to do all kinds of other things before you actually start, looking at the horse's body carefully. You know which leg is involved. So you can get to the parts that veterinarians do well quicker. And then the other thing that we have discovered over the years is that it's not just detecting that the horse has lameness, but we can tell from the trajectory, the shape of the trajectory, whether it's like an impact lameness, like if the Hertz coming down on the limb, or whether it's a push-off lameness, like Hertz pushing off on the limb. And that gives us information to help us like narrow down within the leg on what are the potential. So, I think it's actually mostly a labor-saving device for the veterinarian.
Well, and Dr. Keegan, it's been a while since I was there and we did that with that old mare. But at that point in time, the University of Missouri was really kind of developing the program. But right now, there's multiple veterinarians that have access to this. Is that right?
Yeah, it has vacillated over the years. I think right now there's about 500 around the world. I think all of the North American veterinary schools do have one. Many of the European, there's some in Australia, a few in South America, and many of the major practices around have it. Some of them use it only for very difficult cases. But yeah, it's commercially available now. I can say that the company, 2023, they ran into a snag with developing sensors because shortages, something to do with COVID, where the radio chipset that they were using was no longer available, not anywhere. So they had to redesign the sensors with a different radio chipset, and they have now, and then been working on it for several years, and now they have it figured out. But there was a period of time there from 2023 till just until fairly recently where they didn't have sensors. And the sensors of lameness locator are very, very specific because there's nothing like them that exist in the world. Because when a veterinarian evaluates a horse for lameness, the horse could easily get 70, 80 meters away. And so you need something that will, transmit data, a lot of data, because we sample at 200 hertz for a long distance. And also the battery needs to last a long time, because an evaluation could last for hours. So yeah, there's no other sensors in the world that do the same thing that the sensors that the Equinosis Q have. There's all kinds of Bluetooth sensors out there for wearables, but nothing that has the capability of these sensors. And it took a long time to develop them.
And if you're just joining us, we're talking to Dr. Kevin Keegan. He's a professor at the Veterinary Medicine of Surgery at the University of Missouri and also at the College of Veterinary Medicine. Dr. Keegan, we're talking about lameness, and we're talking about this facility that you have as far as program that's developing lameness indicators. What about if the problem is in the hoof versus the leg versus the hip? Does that have any problems as far as locating where your lameness is going to be?
Well, you have to figure that out. That's the ultimate goal of the veterinarian, is to figure out where it is. Evaluating the horse in motion is part of the equation. I think you can look at the data and kind of get an idea whether it's like in the upper part or the middle part or the lower part. And then you have to go figure it out. And I mean, recently, I think one of the other things that has happened that I think is very exciting, and probably in the last like 40 years, I think one of the most exciting things for this is the true standing CT. And, CT is computed tomography, but true standing CT. So we have always been able to CT horses' legs, but, you have to put them under anesthesia because you have to have the leg motionless during the time that the portion of the leg is being imaged. And it's hard to keep a horse standing still, but unless you have the horse standing on the leg. So we recently have put in, I think it's 2 years ago now we have the true standing CT. So put that together with the inertial sensors and finding out like which leg is involved. We frequently will now just send the horse in for a CT, standing CT, which is over in like a minute. And it'll image the entire leg, well, up to the stifle in the hind leg and up to the elbow in the front leg. So that is normally veterinarians will do things like radiograph, ultrasound, also blocking horses. But, there's all kinds of limitations with those.
And Dr. Keegan, I know there's a lot of listeners out here that are very intrigued by this new technology, and it's only going to keep evolving. Let's say they're curious on how they could get more information on this, or how could they find out if their local university has it, or how could they get in contact with you or the university? How would be a good way to get a hold of you guys?
Well, yeah, you can send me an email, keegank@missouri.edu. Yeah, just send me an email. The true standing CT right now in the United States, I think there's only about 5 places that have it. There's one in Texas. There's one in Minnesota or Wisconsin, somewhere up there. There's one here at Missouri. We actually decided to do it a long time ago. It took a while to convince our university administration to spend the money to put it in. It did take a lot of money to put in.
Sure.
But we are keeping the price low. There's a couple in Australia. So that's not really readily available, but I think it's going to catch on. Now the inertial sensor, that I think there are many people around that have that. So, but yeah, just send me an email, keegank@missouri.edu, and I can point you in the right direction.
And we appreciate you joining us. That's Dr. Kevin Keegan, and you can check him out at his email address or take a look at the Veterinarian Health Center at the University of Missouri on your webpage. And we can also put together the equinus.com, and that will also get you some information on this special event. Dr. Keegan, we want to thank you for joining us. We'd love to have you come back as we talk more about the lameness in this horse. It seems to be one of our biggest issues we have on this radio show.
Okay, yeah, it'd be my pleasure.
Dr. Kevin Keegan, everyone, thank you for joining us, and appreciate all the hard work that he's doing over there at the University of Missouri College of Veterinary Medicine. Merle, that was just an outstanding episode that we just had with him.
Yes, it was. Very interesting.
Probably one of the most interesting conversations you have with Dr. Kevin Keegan about lameness is we could take a whole hour on this one subject, Merle, just talking about it.
Oh, it's great. And actually to have been there and been through that, because it quantifies the data. It's not just I think he's a 3.5. It's actually giving you data back. It's a really cool system. And I think it's just going to, I think there's a lot of daylight to improve it. It's just, the possibilities are endless. It's just such a great deal.
And you know what? I'm really proud to have the University of Missouri College of Veterinary Medicine there at our fingertips here in the Midwest. We appreciate everybody joining it in. And you know what, Merle? That wraps it up for this week. And if anyone would like to hear this program again, I want to encourage them to go ahead and look at our podcast. We are available wherever you get your podcast on your mobile phone.
Ed, the Better Horses Spring Edition newspaper is out, and there's a lot of great tips and tricks and horses and riders and for everybody in there, and a lot of good reading material.
You know, I really like that program too. And it's the only time you can actually get the newspaper right at your mailbox if you just go to betterhorses.com and hit subscribe. Hey, everyone, we still got the Better Horses TV still rolling right along, having a lot of fun with that, especially with all these spring shows that are coming on board. You can check us out, Better Horses Television on RFD, the Cowboy Channel, and streaming also on Equus TV.
Ed, we can't close it out without giving a special thanks to the team behind the scenes. Our radio producer, Brianna Johnson, who worked extra hard this week again.
She did.
Our,
Yeah,
our
she
TV
did.
producer, Kelly Creech. And, of course, all of our wonderful sponsors.
Yeah, we'd like to thank our listeners, too. And that wraps it up for this week. Merle, thank you for joining us. And we want all of you to be good buckaroos and buckarettes. Mind your mom and dads. Be brave, but don't take any chances out there. Until next time, I'm Ed Adams.
And I'm Merle Arbo.
Happy trails, and always ride for the brand.